Welcome to the first edition of the Blitz Awards Show. I'm Pat Moroney. We have a very special show planned tonight for all the football fans in Southwest Georgia.
Indeed we do. I'm John Benson, and a month ago we sat here on the final episode and looked back at the 2013 season, and tonight we celebrate all the plays, players, and coaches that have made this season so spectacular. And kicking off the show, I had an opportunity to meet up with Lowndes County head coach Randy McPherson and to tell me about this year's Wintersville Classic for our game of the year.
The game itself is hard to explain, you know. The ultimate rivalry game. The thing that makes this game different than other rivalry games, in my opinion, is after the game's over with, we still got to go on living together. So that makes it a special deal, but it's one of a kind.
This year was specifically different than years past, you know, only winning by a field goal. And that field goal came early in the game in the first quarter. Did you think at any point that would determine the outcome of the game?
No, I wasn't thinking about that. You know, it turned into a defensive game, though, without a doubt. You know, in a rivalry game, kids play hard, you know, and play a lot harder than they do in other ball games, and it's just a lot of emotion, a lot of adrenaline, and it was just one of them nights where both defenses just took over.
There was an opportunity for Valdosta to possibly tie with
Correct.
a field goal, and talk about, you know, your special teams stepping up and getting a partial block on that.
If I remember correctly, I think Kaysen took a pass and we thought he was going to score, and we knocked him out of bounds around maybe the 10-yard line. I'm not sure which kid knocked him out of bounds, but it was a great play by Valdosta. And then they had it first maybe in goal from there, and our defense put them in a field goal situation. That was a great accomplishment down there. And our Alex Brown blocked a field goal, and boy, that really electrified everything. Boy, that was something.
What an incredible game, huh?
It really was. It really was. And now we move from an incredible game to an incredible play, and it was made by Lee County's own J.Q. Quimbley. And now we're going to set the scene for you here. It's week 11 and the Trojans were at home against Northside Columbus, and they already had an early lead, and they were looking to add when Stephen Collier dropped back to pass this out with plenty of time.
Collier aired it out deep all the way to the end zone, and Quimbley, the junior wideout, he just went up and got it, avoiding the injury there at the end of the play, beat the defender to the highest point and hauled it in for 6.
Such an acrobatic catch, too, I have to admit.
It really was, and it helped the Trojans roll over Northside Columbus on the way to a region championship. While catches like this weren't exactly the norm for Quimbley, this type of athleticism is something his coaches and teammates are used to seeing from the playmaking receiver.
JQ's got a very good athlete, got a lot of quickness, really can do a lot of good things for us, getting in and out of his cuts and running his route.
Now we are lucky enough to be joined by the man with the plan at Westover, Patriots head coach Octavia Jones. Coach Jones, congrats on being our McDonald's Coach of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Coach, so you had just finished your 4th season over at Westover, and this year was your best year overall as far as records go. And how do you continue the success on the field year in and year out?
We just have to make sure we remind the guys of what got us here. Got to make sure that they're not complacent, they continue to work hard, and we want to try to stay where we are right now because we like this place.
Okay, now starting off the season 1 and 2, I don't know if you were a little worried, but you really, things started clicking during region play. You kind of ran the table, at least during the regular season. After that, what started going right for you guys? Was it a tough early season schedule, or did you guys just start playing better as a football team?
I think the tough early season schedule helped us. We knew it would prepare us for region play. And when we got to region play, I think our offense started gelling and coming together, and our defense continued to play lights out, and that helped us on to the region crown.
Now, winning region and hosting a state playoff game and winning round 1, what do you think that does for Westover and the football program going forward into the future?
It gives us momentum, definitely. I think it makes the younger guys more excited about coming to Westover, being that we're just coming off a championship season, and they definitely want to be a part of that and try to help us earn a state championship. So things are on the up and up, and we like the way we're going.
Okay. Now, I know you got a few returning starters on offense, a few returning starters on defense, but you lose a guy like Brenton Wimberly, led 4A in sacks.
Yes,
I mean, how do you kind of plug in the holes? How do you keep being the coach of the year, now that the season's even over?
Well, we just continue to develop the guys in the off season, and we're pretty sure we'll have some more guys that'll be willing to step up and fill the shoes of those like Brenton Wimberly and Saunders and the rest of those guys. But when you got Trenton Thompson coming back, that helps things go a little smoother.
All right, well, Coach, congratulations once again for earning this year's Coach of the Year, and thank you for taking the time to sit down and chat with us and everything. So I hope you have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the break for the holidays coming up for you.
And thank you. Happy holidays to you guys, too.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you. All right, coming up next, we'll honor the best high school players around Southwest Georgia when we reveal our all-star teams. So stay tuned for more on The Blitz. Welcome back to The Blitz. Like any year, it's tough to pick the best high school players around without leaving a few excellent names off the list. And I'm sure we are a little guilty of this season, because we came up with the best for our all-star team in 2013. That's right. We had 6 offensive players, 6 defensive players, and we broke them up by position. And we'll start with the most important position on the football field, the quarterback. With apologies to Adam Choice, Malcolm Parrish, Daniel Mobley, and several other very deserving candidates, Stephen Collier comes away with the quarterback spot on this year's All-Star team. The future is bright for this Ohio State Buckeye, but he can always look back at his senior season as a special time at Lee County. The Trojans won the 5A1 Region Championship and hosted a playoff game for the first time in years, and Collier and the Trojan offense were a large part of that success. The 6'4", 200-pound quarterback did it with his arm and his legs this season. He threw for just a shade under 3,000 yards in 2013 with 24 touchdowns coming through the air. And on the ground, he passed the 1,000-yard mark and scored 20 TDs. That's 44 trips to the end zone in just 12 games. Collier's dual-threat abilities paved the way for an exciting offense in Leesburg. The Trojans scored over 40 points 4 times and failed to score over 20 only once. Obviously, the signal caller played a large role in moving the ball up and down the field, and if that wasn't enough, he's graduating a semester early to get up to Columbus and start prepping for his college career under Urban Meyer. And we'll stay in the backfield at the running back, and the winner is Saheem King of Colquitt County and the Packers. If you haven't watched the Blitz over the course of the season, there's a good chance you've seen King break one out in the end zone, and he's definitely fast. But his shiftiness made him a terror for defenses to bring down all season long, and he was the vocal point of the Packers team that went all the way to the semifinals in 6A Region 1. Perhaps the best news for the Packer fans is that King is only a junior, and he could only add on to the numbers that he accumulated this year. He had 270 carries for 1,439 yards and ran for 17 touchdowns. And he's hardly a one-trick pony. King also caught 37 passes for over 350 yards and added a touchdown through the air, and he did it all season through 14 games. The Packers fell short of the state championship game when they lost to Norcross in the semifinal game, but they rode King's legs all the way into December. Now we'll move from the backfield to out wide and honor some of the best playmakers around the wide receivers. We already talked about Lee County and quarterback Stephen Collier slinging the ball around the yard. He had to throw it to someone though, right? And his favorite target was a kid who already made an appearance on the show with his play of the year. I'm talking about J.Q. Quimbley. The junior wideout quickly emerged as a prime target for Collier as a reliable source for both first downs and touchdowns. Quimbley reached the end zone 13 times, in fact, which tied the all-time record at Lee County High School, and he had several big nights with multiple touchdowns. He also added 52 receptions and 870 yards receiving this season. For Dean Fabrizio and his coaching staff, Quimbley did it all this year. He proved he can stretch the field vertically or make the catch and run plays that move the chains. But the best news for Lee County, Quimbley will be back next season along with 7 other returning starters on offense. Now we'll move from a junior to a senior for the other wide receiver position, and it's a very worthy candidate. It's Emmanuel Davis from right here in Albany at Monroe High School. The small but speedy receiver had a huge season catching passes from Tornadoes quarterback Charles Stafford in his pass-happy offense. Davis brought in 62 receptions for 786 receiving yards. He also caught 5 touchdown passes as Charles Truitt's team made it back to the state playoffs. Davis's big season was good enough to earn him first-team All-Region honors, which was voted on by the coaches. It was also impressive enough to land him a spot on the Blitz All-Star team.
Well, there would be no first downs, no touchdowns, no yards at all without the big boys up front.
That is right.
So now we move to the guys who keep their skill players clean, the offensive linemen. We already talked a little bit about the potent Colquitt County offense of 2013, and it all started up front with the anchor of the offensive line, Gabe Mobley. Mobley is a senior who has played all 4 years as a Packer and has hopped around from center to guard to tackle. And if you're into O-line stats, you're going to love this one. He had over 50 pancake blocks in 2013. That kind of physicality on the line has Mobley fielding offers from several schools, including Georgia State. He's playing in one of the North-South All-Star games over the holidays, and that honor, just like this one, is well-deserved after a long season of protecting Daniel Mobley and opening up holes for Saim King to run wild.
That is great. And for our second offensive line, we'll stay at the 6A Region 1. And congratulations to Wyatt Miller of Coffee County. Even though the Trojans struggled in region play this year, their offense was still able to put up some points. And Miller was a big part of moving the football up and down the field. This is a big boy who listed at 6'5" and weighs at 285, which is ideal size for an offensive tackle. But his coach, Robbie Pruitt, says size isn't Miller's only asset. He's solid and smart with high character, which is why he has a scholarship offer and is committed to play football at University of Central Florida. So we just covered the big boys on offense. Now it's time to honor the big fellas on defense.
Yes, plenty of good choices here, but one local high school took home both nods for the all-stars of the defensive line. Westover had a dominant defensive unit in 4A Region 1, and it all started up front. If you haven't heard of Trent Thompson, you should probably get acquainted. The junior was recently named as the #1 recruit in the nation according to the scouting website Rivals.com, and he has offers from schools all over the SEC. But right now he's destroying opposing offensive linemen at the high school level. And all the rival linemen, quarterbacks, and running backs in 4A Region 1 know exactly who Trent Thompson is. He was named as the Region Defensive Player of the Year on a unit that gave up more than 20 points only twice all season. He's technically listed as a defensive tackle, but Coach Octavia Jones lines him up all over the place as a way to avoid double teams. But when you're a beast like Thompson, those double teams are inevitable, and his coaches rave about the strides he has made in every aspect of his game. So look out next year, Georgia. Mr. Thompson is only getting better.
Obviously, Trent Thompson is a stud, but is he even the best defensive lineman on this Westover Patriot team? Fellow Patriot Brenton Wimberly may beg to differ. He's a senior defensive end who helped make the Westover defense so solid. Wimberly's specialty is simple: rush the quarterback, and he did it better than anyone in the state of Georgia. He led all 4A with 20 sacks, which is a huge reason why Westover was so good at getting those 3 and outs and getting off the field. Wimberly will suit up for the Border Wars All-Star game between Georgia and Florida, and he hopes that won't be the last time he suits up. He has football scholarship offers from Morehouse and Clark Atlanta, so Division II quarterbacks should be worried. And now we move over to what considered to be the most important position group on defense.
The linebackers. Maybe not everybody agrees, but there were plenty of good ones in the area who think that it's definitely the most important position on the field. Earlier this week, we covered Albany High School's Jawan Young as he signed on to play football for Al Golden at the University of Miami. And his big senior season certainly went a long ways in proving that he is worthy of being a top-notch recruit. And he's sure to do big things in South Florida beginning in 2014. Young did a little bit of everything this year for Coach Felton Williams and the Albany Indians, but he did most of his damage at his most natural position, linebacker. He racked up over 100 tackles on the season. 4 of those were tackles for loss, and he added to his destruction of offenses with 5 sacks. But he was a two-way player, and as a running back, he accumulated 10 touchdowns. Young's efforts were good enough to earn him all region honors in 4A1, and just like Stephen Collier, he is graduating a semester early and starts at the U in January.
And for our second linebacker, we dropped down to single A with the Irwin County Indians, who had a great season this year, and it was all due to the help of Antoine Merritt. Now, the senior linebacker was voted as Region 2A Player of the Year, and for someone who plays both sides of the ball, it was well deserved. But Merritt's main focus was on the defensive side of the ball, starting out the season playing outside linebacker, then moved to inside linebacker to help with the run game. Merritt managed to rack up 61 tackles, 5 tackles with a loss, 3.5 sacks, and not to mention him rushing for over 1,000 yards as running back. This year, the 5'9", 180-pound linebacker helped reach the Indians to a great 10-2-1 season, and the senior hopes and plans on playing football next year at the college level. And that'll sum up the defensive core with the linebackers there, but...
Exactly. Last but not least, we considered the corners and safeties into, or we condensed the corners and safeties into one category, defensive back. I know we already have a couple of Westover Patriots on our all-star defense, but the best defense in the region is going to get a little more love in the secondary with safety Jasanti Richardson, who was the anchor of Westover's defensive backfield as they rolled to a region title. Richardson had a fantastic junior season in large part because he has a skill that you just can't teach young guys. He has a nose for the football. He hauled in 8 picks in 2013, which was the most in the entire region. Patriots head coach Octavia Jones played him at free safety so he could roam around the field and make plays, and that strategy paid off big time for Westover, who didn't allow over 24 points in a game during the regular season, and his good season was good enough to garner first-team all-region honors.
And checking out a GISA player who made our list, and rightfully so. The free safety, strong safety out of Sherwin Christian Academy, Kenny Brown. Brown was selected on an all-region team and all-state nominee, racking up 112 tackles, 1 sack, 2 blocked field goals, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. And luckily for the Eagles, the 6', 180-pounder defensive back will make a return for one last season next year. Brown also won Player of the Game honors against Trinity Christian, who led the team in 11 solo tackles with 1 assisted tackle.
All right, that'll do it for now, but come back in a second. We still have a couple more awards to give out.
Definitely. And welcome back to the Blitz Awards Show. Only 2 awards left to dish out before we put a bow on this 2013 season permanently.
It's gone by way too fast.
Way too fast.
Obviously, football is a team sport all the way, and so now we'll take a chance to honor our Team of the Year. You might not be surprised. But it's the Packers of Colquitt County that stood out as the best that Southwest Georgia football had to offer this season. For Coach Rush Probst and his program, deep playoff runs are a yearly tradition, but before this season, everybody in Moultrie aimed higher in the hopes of bringing home state title. They started the march at the Corky Kell Classic in Atlanta against Grayson, so their motto of start at the Dome, end at the Dome fit perfectly.
That was the best way to start the season. I'm probably one of the happiest people on earth, for real, but I mean, I know we kind of had a feeling we were going to beat them.
Playing like the best teams in the state and stuff like that, like early on in the season, and then like it prepare you for the regular season. So then so all the adversity and everything, and so then we just overcome, because ain't nothing would get worse than playing the best teams.
And after a Week 2 loss to Probst's old program in Alabama, Hoover High School, the Packers caught fire just in time for region play. Possibly the best region of all of Georgia. Colquitt County breezed past Lowndes, Brunswick, and Coffee and pulled out close calls against Tift County and Valdosta. That set up a huge matchup for the region championship against Camden County, and the Packers dropped the nail-biter on the road, and it was disappointing, but also served as a wake-up call heading into the playoffs.
Like our region is probably like the best one in the state of Georgia. So then we always had like the mindset per week is like nobody can beat us, and then we just had that mindset.
It's probably the hardest region in Georgia, but we kind of beat ourselves that Camden game, but we were rolling pretty much through it all.
After the Camden game, something changed about the whole team. Everybody had a desire to win, and we just thought we were going to win it from then on.
Once the postseason started, Colquitt turned it on and started clicking in all phases. Round 1 at home was easy money with a 41-10 win over Noonan. Then the Pack had to go on the road to North Cobb, but even with some very undesirable weather conditions, it was a rout from start to finish, 52-6. Colquitt inched even closer with another blowout win over Decula, and that set up a rematch with Norcross, who beat the Packers in the semifinals last season. Up 9-7 late in the game, bad weather struck again, and after a long delay, Colquitt County couldn't get their groove back and fell 14-9. The season was over, and even though another run ended in the semifinals, the Colquitt County Packers were a special bunch in 2013.
I love being with this football team. I love my coaches. They prepare us every day, and I just feel that we could have dominated a little bit better than what we did.
I mean, I love my teammates. They grind with me. We've been through a lot together. We went to war, and I hate that we lost to Norcross.
And to be on the field with your boys and grinding, I mean, for the last time, so I mean, you won't never forget it, so it was good.
Now it's time for our Player of the Year. The fans have voted, and they have spoken loud and clear.
That's right, and the voting wasn't even close, which made him a clear winner. Saheem King, running back for the Packers, and you are the winner of this inaugural Player of the Year, and my good friend over here, Pat Moroney, caught up with King this week at Colquitt County High School.
Saheem, a lot of votes for the Player of the Year award. How does that feel to get so many votes, to have so much respect throughout the Southwest Georgia area?
It feels great. Like, I appreciate everything. I thank you, everybody who voted for me, and it's a blessing. I appreciate it.
Now, obviously, you had a big season. What was kind of your mindset heading into this year?
Having a big season, winning a state championship, carrying my team, and we want to be number 1.
Okay. Now, do you like being a part of such a balanced offense? You know, you're running the football a lot. You're the feature back, but you're catching passes out of the backfield, gaining yards that way. What do you like about being part of such a balanced offense that really utilizes your talents?
I think it's best for me because I'm a tempo guy. I like rushing, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, it really tiring a little bit. You get used to it as you're going because it kills the defense.
Okay. Now, what would you say is your best asset as a tailback? Is it just pure speed, shiftiness, strength? What would you say it is?
I have to say shifty. I'm shifty. I like to move. It's kind of hard to get to me. Not bragging or nothing, but it's just, I think I got I'm a small back, but I got kind of like everything. Like I'm scream, speed, shifty.
Okay. Now, every running back likes to score touchdowns, obviously. Would you say you have a nose for the end zone? You scored quite a few this year. What was it like to get in, when you crossed that goal line?
It's like a dream come true. Like just knowing everybody watching you, and your mom in the stands, you get to score a touchdown for your team. It's a blessing.
Okay, now obviously a big junior season is behind you now. What are your goals for the senior season? How do you build on this?
Losing Norcross hurt my heart, so I just got to come out hard, work hard, make sure my team don't give up, make sure they finish, and we got to keep going. We got to continue playing, play our game, no worries.
Okay, Saheem, another year like this, we might see you back here again. Thanks so much.
All right, well, congratulations once again to him. We'll see you in just a minute to wrap it up.
Well, this is it. It's been a great year of the Blitz. Thank you all so much for watching.
It's been a fantastic season, and have a great new year and a great holiday.